Disclaimer. The comments made in this video are intended solely for entertainment purposes and are not intended to harm or offend anyone.
From a young man caught in a web of unpaid rent.
Right now, what you owe is $61.43.55. You follow me?
Mm-hmm. I know that.
Okay, then what were you asking me about late fee?
Nothing.
No, you're trying to ask me something. Just tell me.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Haley, I think you figured out. I'm not as stupid as I look.
To a defendant pleading guilty to a driving offense.
After having him wait here in court, there was an attempt to swear out that case that was done before Magistrate Fink, where the magistrate did not find probable cause. And this court was not informed. Mr. Lee was in custody. It is inexcusable that the prosecutor on their representations had this court act that deprived Mr. Lee of his liberty for 7 days. Inexcusable.
Here are 4 dramatic courtroom moments under Judge Simpson's command. This court proceeding is focused on Gavin's desire to separate himself from a lease agreement he shares with Haley.
Hello.
Hi.
State your name, sir.
Gavin Wellesley.
Wellesley. All right. So where are we on this? Well, hold on. I'll let Ms. Dornbush speak first, and then we'll...
The total we're at today, Your Honor, is the $6,143.
$6,143.
That's correct.
Okay. So the other thing didn't come through.
Unfortunately, no. It's not looking
All right.
good.
That's fair enough. We get it. All right. So you look like you want to tell me something. What do you want to tell me?
No.
Yes, you do. You're looking like you want to say something.
No.
No? Gets up here and then she clams up. All right. So did you get your account open?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The rest of the funds were put into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Or we're still working on transferring it, but a lot of them did, yeah.
What does that mean?
So there's like limits on how much you can transfer through apps within like a week period of time or whatever. It's all confusing.
But the account is set up.
Yes.
For that's in your name.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so when do you anticipate you'd have all of that transferred over?
Probably within, I think there's more ways around it. We were trying to do either send it right to the bank, like Zelle, or I don't know. There's ways, I guess, soon. I don't know exactly.
No, that was a 20-year-old answer you just gave me.
Oh.
I get it. No, I get it. That's okay. So here's what we're going to do. So if we added November's rent, no, let's do this. If you were to add November and December rent, how much would that be, Ms. Dornbush?
One moment, Your Honor. So the rent's $1,235, Your Honor. So times 2. There's 2 static utility charges at $1,650 a month times 2. And then the water sewer is no more, from what I can tell, than $30 per month. So if we $60 per month. So if we went with that number times 2, it looks like $8,766.55.
How much?
8766.55.
All right, 55. Okay.
I'm gonna just double check my math just to be safe, Judge.
Oh no, I have 2 staff members. That's exactly what they got. So I think you're good. So here's what we're going to do while you solve that other part of the problem. So Haley, we'll have to figure out the rest of it. But what we're going to do is, so you can take a bit of a breath, we're going to pay up through December.
Okay.
That sound good? Are you just nodding at me because you're going to agree with the guy in the black robe, or that's what you want to do?
No, it sounds good. I just don't want it to be a problem with them.
For who?
I don't want them to like worry or anything.
Who?
The apartment.
I know. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release 87766 to Spice Street. Okay.
And is that all the late fees too?
What?
Is that included? Like, I don't know how much all the late fees add up to.
Which late fees?
I'm guessing there's late fees for each.
Okay, just listen. You owe right now, you said 61.43
And
75
55 cents. Yep.
and 55. Okay, so right now what you owe is 61.43.55.
Mhm.
Got that? What I just, the calculation that we just went through were your rent for November and December, and those charges that you have, like water, the water charge, and you have some other static charges that are in. So everything, put that all together. So your back rent and everything through December, you would owe $8,766. Okay, got that? So there's not going to be any late. I mean, they've got all the late fees and everything from previous. That's already in there
Mhm.
in the other one. You follow me?
Mhm. I know that.
Okay, then what were you asking me about late fees?
Nothing.
No, tell me you're trying to ask me something. Just tell me.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Haley, I think you figured out. I'm not as stupid as I look. So just if you got a question, just ask. I'll figure it out. Even if you don't think it's going to come out right, just ask me the question.
I don't know exactly what I was just making sure that it was those months added to.
The fact that Judge Simpson made sure he was very cheerful in putting Haley at ease is very nice. He's just the best. He made sure she was comfortable enough to at least voice out.
Right. But you won't have late fees if we pay it for November and December.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it? Okay. So I'm going to release that from the escrow. You still have a sizable chunk in escrow, right? But I'm going to adjourn this out to November 1st. There's a reason why I'm doing that, okay? At that time, it may be that this case then gets dismissed. You're going to have to make a decision about whether or not you want the rest of your lease paid up.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me? Because her lease runs through what date?
I don't have the lease in front of me, Judge, but her move-in date was mid-April, so maybe the end of March,
Okay.
possibly.
That sound about right? That it runs through March? It runs through May?
That could be, Your Honor. They may have signed a slightly longer lease, and if you bear with me just I do have it. I just didn't have it open.
I
You
moved
in your
15th.
birthday month of April.
Yeah, the 15th. And if it's 12 months, then it should be.
Oh, actually, Your Honor, it looks like it was a 14-month lease and it expires on June 16th.
Gotcha.
They definitely said it was 12.
What'd you say?
They definitely said it was 12.
Okay, but you got a 14-month lease,
Mhm.
right? And so here's what you got to think about. And I'll need an answer by November 1st. This other amount that I have in escrow, I'm going to hold that, right? And then you are going to have to decide how far you want paid out on this lease so you don't have to worry about it, okay? But I'm going to let you I want you to think about it and then let you make that decision, okay? A great deal of the money that's here is really for that purpose. Stabilize you a little bit. Okay, just want you to think it through, and then you're going to give me what your decision is, and then I'll tell you what mine is. But I'll let you speak first next time, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to release that amount. You don't have to worry. You're going to be paid through December. Then we're going to try to figure out if your lease ends in June, how that's going to be paid while you get yourself settled. Got it?
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
I got to get her to actually use the word. Do you have any other questions?
No.
No.
I do, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just curious, since we have kind of the money for this, is there any way I could find out whether I'll still be on the lease or if there's a way I can come off it without it affecting my record? Or
Gavin wants to be released from the lease agreement they share. He is concerned that remaining on the lease could negatively affect his record and seeks clarity on whether he can separate from the lease without consequences.
so-and-so, kind of.
Ms. Dornbush, you don't have an answer to that, do you?
I do, actually, and
Okay.
this may play a part in and Haley deciding what she wants to do on November 1st. If the lease is paid through the end of the term, then they are willing to release Mr. Wellesley from the lease, and it would remain solely in Haley's name. They just need that assurance that the full lease will be covered.
And I think, okay, you follow that?
Yeah.
So his name comes off if we can make sure that this is paid through June. But I don't want you making that decision right now. I want you to make that decision by November 1st. I want you to kind of think it through. Fair enough? Okay. So see you November 1st, 2024.
While settling Gavin and Haley's case, here's another dramatic situation Judge Simpson faces with another defendant. Imagine a defendant suddenly trying to dictate the conditions for her punishment. Crazy, right? But then our judge is very skilled with cases like this. Ms. Dolores Strickland is currently asking for a plea offer that does not contain any probationary terms, so she can proceed without restrictions because she is now involved in a legal situation that led to her being imprisoned for 230 days.
Just call the case. People versus Dolores Strickland.
Ready, Judge. Torshell Feaster, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Miss Dolores Strickland. Miss Strickland, please state your name for the record.
230 times Dolores Strickland.
Thank you, Judge. I have had many conversations with Miss Strickland, and we were working with the people, with Miss Tana, to try to resolve this matter. Miss Strickland had a particular offer she wanted requested. I asked Miss Tana for that.
You asked?
Miss Tana.
How'd that go?
She was not willing
I didn't.
to give Miss Strickland the offer that she wanted. Then I sent Miss Tanha the mitigation letter just to make sure she had it, because Miss Strickland wanted you to have it and Miss Tanha to have it. I told her this was not the point for Your Honor to have a mitigation letter, but I did make sure Miss Tanha had it. And we're asking for another adjournment so Miss Tanha can consider the offer in light of the mitigation letter that I have made sure she had per Miss Strickland's request.
So do we have the,
And also, can we do that as soon as possible? Because I've been in here, Your Honor, 230 days today, and I've got absolutely nowhere. And I also sent you the mitigation letter and a letter in the mail just recently. So you'll probably get that too.
okay. I know you've been in a while, but I also have 3 cases. So that may be part of the problem.
Altogether, from what I understand.
If I might, Judge, Ms. Strickland is hoping for a resolution that will not include any type of probation.
Oh.
And that is not what is being offered at this time. And that is going to possibly be a hangup to resolve this matter.
And Your Honor, I told him that I would maybe consider it. It depends on how long it would be. But however, I do have family in Florida, that Tallahassee, the hurricane, things like that I really need to get out to see if they're even alive or what happened to them, because I can't find nothing out in here. And I talk to them through Messenger. That's the way I stay in touch with my family. And I know they got hit. I just don't know how hard. And I can't get no information because the only person that I have here is my ex of 15 years and my other kids that, I don't have their number right now either, because I cannot get to their number, and I do not have phone, which I need to ask Your Honor, can I get my phone privileges back on, please?
I believe they were restricted because she had contacted.
Because she violated a condition of bond, so I revoked it.
Correct.
I was already punished for that, Your Honor, because he had them block his number. So that should have no problem of me calling my brother and trying to get help from him or, contact him, because that's who I was contacting. I wasn't contacting my ex.
Okay.
She continued, pleading with the court for a quicker conclusion to her case and lamenting the lengthy process and being unaware of her family's condition. It's frustrating to see these offenders just try to play the system for their benefit. She's been in jail for 230 days, and now she thinks she can set the rules just by playing the pity me victim. Judge Simpson noticed what Ms. Strickland was doing and the fact that she wasn't even paying attention to her attorney's instructions. He made it clear to her that she needed to take the proceedings seriously and at least listen to her attorney.
Now, a lot of these requests that you're making,
It's because I got nowhere.
okay, listen, you need to talk with your attorney about them.
Your Honor, I have.
Do you listen to your attorney as well as you're listening to me? That means not at all.
I got mental issues that just I'm overwhelmed, very much so, Your Honor, but go ahead.
Thank you.
Well,
Talk to your attorney about these issues. He'll talk to the prosecutor. They'll see what can possibly be worked out, if anything can be worked out. I'm not reinstating your phone privileges. You violated that condition of bond. That will continue revoked.
then I'll just continue.
Okay.
I guess.
Sorry, Judge, if we could have an adjournment so that Ms. Tana and I'm bad with names.
Miss Rizmersky.
Ms. Rizmersky. I knew the first name. Ms. Rizmersky could consider Ms. Strickland's.
How much time will it take for them?
We only need a week or two, Judge.
A week, please, Your Honor. A week. Let's speed this up, Your Honor. I'm trying to. If you just read my mitigation letter, Your Honor, you can find out why.
Ma'am, that's the problem. You keep doing things that your attorney says it's not the appropriate time. When I get that letter into my office, I'm going to tell you I am not going to review it because it's not appropriate for me to see that. If you listen to your attorney, maybe this would go a little bit smoother.
Honestly, Ms. Strickland was very annoying throughout the whole thing. It's like she wasn't even trying to listen to her attorney. At least the judge wasn't having any of her nonsense and made it crystal clear that he wasn't going to put up with her behavior, which is fully supported.
Your Honor, my attorney's not telling me what I need to know. I'm lost.
No, your
That's
attorney's
why
not telling you what you want to hear. He's telling you what you need to know. You're just not listening, like you're not listening to me. These matters are adjourned to the 17th, 9 a.m. Bond continued. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Here, you can do this.
This particular case deals with Miss Tamara Hassel, who is pleading guilty to 2 charges: refusal to obey a traffic order and providing false identification to a police officer. Despite having pending arrest warrants against her, she completely disregarded orders and provided a false name while speaking to the law officers.
Court does call the case. People versus Tamara Hassel.
Ready, Judge? Portia Feaster, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Ms. Hassel. Please state your name for the record, ma'am.
Tamara Hassel.
This court might recall, we were here a couple of weeks ago. We were trying to enter a plea in this case. Ms. Hassel needed to speak to her father before we went forward. We spoke to him and we are prepared to resolve.
Oh, I remember.
Yes, Judge.
What did he say?
I'm more comfortable. He said, listen to my lawyer because he's not going to tell me nothing wrong. So, no.
Was
like
he
your
upset that you hadn't told him what you were doing?
No.
He wasn't upset?
I mean, he was, but it's like, you grown and you see what's going to happen. Like, you got to learn from your mistakes.
Tough
He
love.
told me,
My daddy give me tough love.
he told you you were grown.
Yeah.
Because you acting that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're here. All right.
All the paperwork should be in the file from the last time, Your Honor.
It's to the attempted resisting.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, let's see if we can do this time. Anybody else you need to talk to?
Nope.
No? All right. Raise your right hand and say verse 4.
You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name.
Tamara Hassel.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Ma'am, it is this court's understanding that you're going to plead guilty to 2 charges. The first charge is the added count 2 of refusal to obey a traffic order. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days and or a $100 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
Yes.
The other is false identification to a police officer. That is also a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days, $100 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand also that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge, and you would be sentenced before Judge Washington in the 14B district court.
Yes.
Okay. Now, understanding all of that, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
To the charge of refusal to obey a traffic order, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the charge of false ID to a police officer, how do you plead?
Guilty.
No. You're doing this voluntarily?
Yes.
Of your own free will?
Yes.
Because you believe that you're guilty of these offenses?
Yes.
July 12th. What'd you say? What'd you say?
You were actually a cool judge. Like you scared me when you said somebody else gonna be my judge.
I scared you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know these people.
She said you scared her when you told her someone else might be her judge.
Really?
Yeah, she wanted you.
Yeah.
Why me?
Yeah, you cool.
I am?
Yeah.
It's weird how this girl is trying to use flattery to get herself out of the punishment. She probably believes sweet talking to the judge would somehow take away her obvious disrespect for the law. The nerve of Miss Tamara to act like disobeying the officer was no big deal. When she's in court, facing real consequences, but still carrying herself like it's nothing, that level of arrogance is just beyond. But then our judge sat still trying to fully understand the whole situation clearly.
I gotta stop that. Well, let me just tell you, I have great respect for my colleagues. My colleague, Judge Washington, she's a cool judge. She's all right. Not as nice as I am, but
You not
okay.
all-
No,
you
go
not
ahead.
all grumpy and mad. Like
What?
You, let us, you not all grumpy and mad. You would let us talk. You know, you let us say. I never seen a judge like that. Like I don't know. And I watch a lot of movies, so it'd be like,
Oh,
change her whole perception of
so you think I ought to be grumpy?
yeah, basically change my whole perception of court.
You-
That's
I changed your perception of court?
yeah,
Oh.
but I'd never be back.
No. All right. Maybe not on purpose. Something tells me you're gonna be back. No. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I do appreciate it. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. All right, young lady. I don't know, how far did we get? All the way through?
Yeah.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Yes,
And also because you believe that you're guilty?
yes.
All right. On July 23rd, 2024, what'd you do on that date that makes you think that you're guilty?
The officer asked me what's my name, and I didn't give him my real identity because I didn't give him my real identity.
All right. And were you driving?
No,
Okay. How am I getting to the other charge?
Of the failure to wear a seatbelt, Your Honor. She did not lawfully comply with the order of the officer to put her seatbelt on.
Oh, who told her to put a seatbelt on?
The police officer, Your Honor.
Oh, so when they were leaving.
I think that's how you can get there, Your Honor.
Pardon?
I think that's how you can get there. What do you think? No?
So when they were leaving, she was told to put her seatbelt on and she refused to put her seatbelt on.
Correct, Your Honor. Won't happen again, Judge.
that didn't happen. It didn't happen. He came to the car. He said, "You don't have on the seatbelt," so I put the seatbelt on, and he said, "That's not the right way." So as I was trying to take it off, he said, "Oh, what's your name?" So it was like, and you know, I'm not from Ypsilanti. I came to Ypsilanti because my sister is here. A lot of stuff happened in my life. So I ended up, it was just crazy. Like I was on my way to work, literally on my way to work. And my boss was driving. He had license and everything, so they couldn't mess with him.
I think he's just trying to figure out how he.
Well, it's interesting to hear all that.
Because I don't really know what this, because it's like he came to the officer came to the car. It was one officer at my boss window, and it was the officer at my window. And he like, "Oh, you don't got no seatbelt," so I put it on. But you know how I put it on, he said that was the wrong way. So he told me to click it in, like take it off and click it in. And I put the seatbelt on, and he asked me for my name, but I didn't give him my real name. And that's how I ended up in a police car, because he said I couldn't leave until he gave my real name. And I gave him, that's when I just said, "Okay, my real name is Tamara Hassel."
Perhaps the court might take the plea to the higher charge.
What was the resisting?
To make matters worse, she kept on trying to twist the truth repeatedly until the judge stepped up, catching on to her motives. Judge Simpson handled this young lady perfectly, shutting her down and made it clear that she just can't fool him.
After the defendant was arrested, she did not obey lawful orders to get into the car.
Why was she arrested?
Can we approach?
Well, right after I get my question answered.
Yes.
Why was she arrested?
My understanding is that she was arrested after she refused to identify herself and had warrants. The report says multiple warrants.
Okay.
I believe she was arrested for giving a false ID to the police officers just while having active warrants.
Yes.
They were trying to take her into custody for, Your Honor.
Correct.
And there was something that happened when she was trying to be taken into custody?
She refused to get into the car, is my understanding, Your Honor.
Yes, the police vehicle.
Is that what happened, young lady?
Nope. But it's like I can't really fight. I don't want to fight with the police. I don't want to argue with the police. I don't want to.
That's what the report indicates, Your Honor.
And
Why is
yeah,
that?
that's what the report says. So it's like I don't want to fight. I don't know how Washington or come. I don't know.
Well, don't come up in here insulting my county. But I'm just trying to figure out, certainly I can take the plea to the higher charge. I'm just trying to figure out what she did that would constitute the higher charge.
I believe giving a false ID would be the obstructing a police officer in his lawful duties, Your Honor.
She also, when the police pulled the vehicle over, she was a passenger and the seatbelt was buckled, but she was not between the seatbelt and the seat. It was buckled behind her. That's how the seatbelt piece of it came to be.
Okay, that's just stupidity. I don't know that that's a crime.
I'm glad to pass it, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Glad to pass it or adjourn it, Your Honor.
Okay, look, I don't mind, and let me just make it clear. Somebody says something to me, she tells me that's not what happened. And she's the one that's got to give me the factual basis to it. I'm not hearing, and maybe it's me, but I'm not hearing anything that constitutes the resisting and obstructing to the higher charge to go to the lower charge. I get the false ID. I'm trying to figure out what else. And then I'll pass it. I'll call that up in the next block. You guys figure it out.
I've spoken to my client, Judge. We've discussed the factual basis, and I think she prepared those facts on the record to facilitate the plea, Your Honor.
All right. I was satisfied as to I think count 3, the false ID, but what happened where you disobeyed a traffic order?
The officer asked me to get in the car and I didn't apply.
And you didn't what?
I didn't comply. So.
And it was a little bit more than that too, right?
What you told me, what we discussed.
The officer asked me to get in the car. I asked him, can I sit down? So I asked him, can I sit down and breathe? So I read my arrest.
You didn't follow his command.
Yeah, I didn't follow his command. I didn't follow the officer.
All right.
I can help if you need more, Judge. I can help if you need.
Please.
Thank you, Judge. At the time of this incident, there was an officer in full uniform, and that officer attempted to have you move towards his squad car. That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And that was an SUV?
Yes.
Oh, all right. It's a marked police SUV.
Yes.
And he told you at some point, he opened the door and he told you to get into the vehicle.
Yes.
And at that time, you told him no. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then his arm grabbed your arm and he tried to help you move towards that door and you pulled back from that officer. Is that also correct?
Yes.
And so that officer was doing his lawful duties, trying to get you into the car to identify you, and you refused his lawful commands. Is that also correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, for the record, Mr. Feaster's questioning alluded to it a little bit, but for the record, to clarify the timeline of events, the defendant was asked to identify herself, gave a false name with no return when the police tried to identify that name and find a record of it, was then arrested and was going to be placed in the back of the car until she could be identified, at which time the resisting happened, and then was later identified and was found to have warrants.
Got it. And that's all accurate as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Is all of that correct?
Oh, yes.
How come you didn't tell me that the first time?
I didn't know how to explain all that. I mean, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. Honestly, I don't know.
You need to stop there. You know exactly what happened. Court's complied with the court rule. Court will accept the defendant's guilty plea to counts 2 and 3. Count 1 is dismissed. Pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered at 14A1 probation. Sentencing in this matter will be before me.
October 23rd at 9 a.m.
October 23rd, 2024, 9 a.m. Now, young lady, I'm going to tell you this. I called Judge Washington. I'm keeping this case. And I'm going to explain something to you about how I work, and Mr. Feaster will tell you. When you're asked a question, you need to tell the truth. You do not need to be skirting around it, trying to smile and do all that stuff. Because, yeah, I can be a really cool judge, but I can also be your worst nightmare, especially if you lie to me. Look at me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Can I say something though?
No.
Oh.
Just listen.
So between now and then, and when you talk to my probation department, I'd suggest that you understand how you should tell the truth. Because Miss Polera, when you meet with her, if she thinks you're lying to her, I will know immediately. And you do not want that to happen. Bond will continue. Thank you.
Yeah, wait for me. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee is accused of violating the law by permitting an unauthorized individual to drive his car. Following the event on February 10th, 2024, he was charged under MCL, a misdemeanor that carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail, a $100 fine, and additional court fees.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Lee, who stands to my right. Please state your name for the record, sir.
Don Lee.
All right. Hey, where are we on this case?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a driver's license case and I have discussed this with Mr. Lee. He will be accepting the offer extended to plead to MCL 257.326.
So, Your Honor, I'd move to add count 2 of MCL 257.326, allowing an ineligible person to drive. You accept that guilty plea to add count 2. I move to dismiss count 1.
Raise your hand. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name.
Don Lee.
This court's understanding you're going to plead guilty to the charge of allowing an ineligible driver to operate a motor vehicle. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 90 days, $100 fine plus court costs. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
And understanding all that, still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
On the date of February 10th, 2024, Michigan Road near Moon Road in Pittsfield Township, Washington County, State of Michigan. Did you have custody or control of a motor vehicle?
Yes.
Did you allow someone who is otherwise ineligible to operate that motor vehicle?
Yes.
Counsel, have I complied with the court rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to count 2. Count 1 is dismissed. Anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Just very briefly, Your Honor, Mr. Lee is asking that the court consider sentencing him to time served. I do acknowledge he wasn't arraigned on this case until September 19th and only has 9 days credit, albeit he was not being held on this case. Outside of that, I just leave it in the court's discretion.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Lee?
And I just wanted to get this over with and keep him going.
You come back on that other thing tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Just trying to recall, when I put you into custody, did we set an exam? Is that what we did?
Yes, exam is on the 8th.
Before me?
No, it's before Judge Burke.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look at that because all right.
I think I have the file up, Your Honor. Did the court have a question I could help with?
Well, I put him into custody, but I know I told him I was going to take a look at that on the remand into custody on it because it came as a result of a police report regarding something else happening.
Yes, it was because there is a new case that is coming down the pipe, to which Ms. Blanche said that the warrant was going to be authorized that day, I believe. Mr. Lee advises, and I don't see anything to contradict that, he hasn't been arraigned on that new charge yet, however, but the 2 ones that he was in front of Your Honor for last week for PCC are set for exam, both cases in front of Judge Burke on October 8th. He's represented by Sam Bernstein in one and the public defenders in the other.
Okay, so my question becomes all right, that's right. That refreshes my memory. Where's that other case? Because the thing, I'm not asking.
Okay.
You don't know.
I know I ain't been arraigned on it.
No, I know, but I'm trying because I don't know. Did I change his bond on? I did change his bond on that. He was supposed to then be arraigned on the other case, but that case was supposed to there was supposed to be a timing on that case to get down. So I remanded him. He was going to be held on these cases, on the ones that are set for exam. And then that other case was going to come down, expected that he might be in on that case. But if that case hasn't come down, I'm not going to be very happy right now.
Yes, to my understanding, Your Honor, he has not been arraigned on that new case, but the 2 cases that are already set for exam in front of Judge Burke, currently his bond is $15,000 on each of those cases.
Correct. I get that. What?
You raised it was a PI bond and you raised it up.
I put it up because of the representation of these other cases, but those other cases were what's the status of that other case?
Your Honor, Ashley Lottie for the people on behalf of talk about these other matters. So if if I'm reading this correctly, other cases was a resisting and obstructing case that was supposed to be coming down. Is that, Ms. Page, is that correct?
I don't think that was, it was involving a car accident and some other stuff.
I don't know the exact charges that were to be authorized, but I know the incident date was before the ones that are currently set for exam.
Right.
That being said,
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, where is that case? Because my problem here is that, and Mr. Lee is certainly not always the most cooperative person in the world, and he knows that. But he got remanded because his other case was coming down.
Correct.
And so I'm trying to, and I think there was a representation that it had been signed off or it was someplace, and the expectation was that case was going to get sworn out while in custody, he'd be arraigned. And then there would be, based upon the facts of that case, a bond set that was likely or may have, I won't say, I can't say for sure, may have kept him in custody, which is why I did what I did.
That was my understanding, Your Honor.
I just need a little bit more information.
Go, look.
So I want to understand, Mr. Lee was last before the court for PCCs. The court is saying on the 26th or the 18th.
I think it was a week ago, wasn't it? I think it was.
The 20.
I think it was the 26th. He was before me.
I have some help helping right now. So the new case, which does appear to be related to fleeing and eluding charges, dated incident 8/29/9/20 to 9/2. It appears that case was authorized, signed by my office on 9/26. And I don't see.
That's what was indicated to the court on the record, that it was signed off on 9/26. But then there was a representation that it was going to get sworn to. It was signed off by your office. I think that's what was represented to me. It was going to get sworn to so that Mr. Lee could be arraigned on it.
My understanding is that Magistrate Fink signed that case on September 30th. It is likely,
well, then why hasn't he been arraigned?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. It may be in a stack of things that are waiting to be entered. That's been happening.
Oh,
I don't.
no, that will not happen. Miss.
Can you tell me what the jurisdiction is?
Yes.
It's not.
It's
not
Ypsilanti City. It's Ypsilanti City.
It's a city case?
No, I showed us
It's a sheriff's office. It's a sheriff's office arrest that occurred in Ypsilanti City.
I show with the 14B.
Okay, so it's on the line. It said the swear out was on the 30th.
I have a police officer.
Oh, really?
Yes, that helps.
So, whoa. Is that what the log notes indicate?
Yes,
So there are no charges?
correct. It says court does not find probable cause.
Okay.
Okay. Just hold. That's what it says?
Yes.
So there is no case.
Can I confirm the police report number for that?
Mr. Lee, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have them take you back
Okay.
and we'll try to figure everything out, have you brought back out, and I'll do what I gotta do.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate, with and on behalf of Mr. Lee, who stands to my right.
I still have to sentence him on the driver well or the operating well. So we've taken a look at it. That complaint that I put Mr. in custody on there was no probable cause found. And so that was not done. And I'm going to say this. They knew the reason. Mr. Lee understood what I was doing and putting me in custody. The prosecutor's office, I think, was given the representation made to this court, was under an obligation to contact this court immediately upon notification that those charges were not brought, knowing that affected Mr. Lee's liberty. And I'm not happy that I wasn't contacted at all. Anything you want to say before I sentence him on his misdemeanor?
Nothing further, Your Honor. I would just reiterate his request be sentenced to time served on that misdemeanor.
Fines and costs of $250. Those fines and costs are waived in their entirety. 90 days suspended on that case. with reference to his felony matters, those will continue to preliminary examination on October 8th before Judge Burke. Bond on those cases, both will be set at personal recovery. The conditions will remain. They never left. It's just they took his liberty on something that didn't get authorized. You're going to be free to go.
So I'm going home today?
You're going to be let out, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Court's going to stand in recess. She needs to get back in here because I'm going back on the record on Mr. Lee. I don't know who else has that case. You may be seated, folks. Yes. At 1 o'clock?
Yeah, she has.
I want her here because I need a message gotten to that office right away. Court is recalling the cases of the people versus Don Lee, both his felonies and his misdemeanor cases.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Ashley Lonnie for the people.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pay on behalf of Mr. Lee.
I'm going to waive Mr. Lee's appearance because they took him down so he could be processed out immediately. But I want to make a record clear and know, and I realize, Ms. Lundy, you were not the one involved, but I am more than livid right now because this case.
Judge Simpson was pissed and taken aback when he found out Mr. Lee had been held in custody for a complete 9 days without a proper charge being authorized, which is completely unfair and annoying. Well, after all the documents and information were reviewed, it became clear that there was no probable cause for the charges, which meant the case should have been dismissed. But then the court was not aware of this information, which led to Mr. Lee being prosecuted once more.
We went back and checked our records. Mr. Lee was taken into custody on the people's representation regarding the previous case. I took him into custody at 11:43 a.m. on June 26th. After having him wait here in court, I took him into custody on that date, and it's important, at 11:43 a.m. on the 26th. There was an attempt to swear out that case that was done before Magistrate Fink less than an hour later at 12:31 p.m., where the magistrate did not find probable cause. And this court was not informed. Mr. Lee was in custody. It was another attempt made to swear out that complaint on the 30th. Again, no probable cause. It is inexcusable that the prosecutor on their representations had this court act that deprived Mr. Lee of his liberty for 7 days. Inexcusable. So, Ms. Lundy, again, while you are not the person that was involved in this, but has done, I will expect a call from Ms. Burton Harris regarding this matter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.